Hello and welcome. It's 2021 and the Global Family Podcast is back. We missed you all and we're excited to start a new and exciting season. We didn't intend to be gone so long, but a little thing called COVID has kept us busy since our last episode on April 3rd, 2020. As you all know, things have changed quite a bit since that time. One thing that has not changed is the need to care for orphans and the need for families to adopt. In fact, the need is greater now than it was. COVID has temporarily closed countries due to travel restrictions, leaving orphanages without much of the support that they had received prior to coronavirus. We are more determined than ever to care for the needs of orphans, whether they are able to be adopted or not. We want to encourage you to join us. That's where this podcast comes in. The Global Family Podcast is back with a few changes. First, we plan to increase the number of episodes each month. We want to keep you informed on anything that has to do with adoption and orphan care. If you've been listening to our first season, you know that we've been providing adoptive parents with advice, tips, and encouragement as you parent through the first weeks, months, and even years after bringing your child home. Now don't worry, we're going to keep on providing that great advice. Right now, we're working with experts who are eager to join us on the show to continue offering their professional insight. We'll also be speaking with adoptive families who are looking forward to sharing their stories with you. They'll talk about their challenges, their milestones, and the unexpected bumps in their adoption process. I know that you'll be encouraged, and those of you who are considering adoption will learn a great deal from them as they share the same questions that you may have about taking that great leap into the unknown of international adoption. And finally, if you are as passionate about being the hands and the feet of Jesus to orphans as we are, you'll be pleased to know that we'll be talking about that too. You're going to hear from those who have been on the ground in Ethiopia, in Uganda, Haiti, China, Southern Asia, and all around the world serving orphans. From medical teams to educators, from teenagers to people just like you and me, our guests will share their firsthand stories, and you'll even hear about opportunities that you have to join others and make a difference in the lives of orphans. Second, the logistical challenges of creating more frequent episodes have led to me becoming the host of Global Family through my current job functions at America World. I'm Mike Stone. I've been a part of America World for more than 16 years. Now my friend and our former host, Jack Hawkins, will no doubt be joining us for shows in the future, but Jack is a busy pastor and he also has another podcast called 10 Steps Further. Be sure to check that out if you haven't already. Finally, we're planning to offer video podcasting for those of you who prefer to see our guests, and that means you can watch on your personal device and your TV. More on that soon, but we're excited to make this option available to you. Right now, we are working hard to schedule guests. We're researching important topics that you want to hear, and we're getting ready to start rolling out those new episodes. In the meantime, we would love your help in these three areas. First of all, share the podcast with your friends and your family on social media. Our show is on all of the podcast distributors like Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Alexa, and so many more. So find us and share away. Second, rate and review the podcast. More podcast platforms are allowing listeners to rate and review. For instance, if you listen on Apple Podcasts, be sure and click on the 5 stars. Take a moment and write a review so others can hear what you have to say about our podcast. And third, be sure to subscribe to the show. It doesn't matter where you listen to the show, you can simply click the subscribe button, which means whenever a new episode is released, you'll be the first to know, and you'll never miss an episode. If you have any questions, comments, or even criticisms for us, you can reach out to me directly at mike.stone@awaa.org. That's mike.stone, Stone, at awaa.org. I would love to hear from you. Hey, before I go, I want to leave you with this encouragement. It is America World's key verse and one of my favorite verses from God's Word. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." You know, I recently spoke with a 7-year-old who was adopted from Africa about his new family. His older sister later told me that she now realizes something that she hadn't thought of previously. She told me, "You know, God has a plan for my little brother to be part of our family. He has plans for all of us, no matter where we live. But if my parents had not obeyed God's call to adopt my little brother, his future would look a lot different than it does now." Wow. Well, God does have a plan for all of us to have hope and a future. You know, it just might be that His plan for you is to be a family to a child that has no mother or father. If you would like more information about adoption, you can simply visit awaa.org to learn more and get contact information and speak with someone at America World. Well, we'll be back soon. Hope you'll subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Thank you for being part of our global family.